good news, guys. We sorted out that boring submarine section. The bad news is we get more dull shooting.
In the underwater base, I guess.
Metal Gear Solid, this is not. Even though this looks a bit like the opening level from Metal Gear Solid.
So, we raided the underwater base. Now I gotta find out where those traitorous bastards are.
Don't tell me, there's gonna be a sequence where the underwater base gets blown up so we have to escape before it pretty much crumples upon itself and drowns us.
Yes, Pedro?
This is Snake. I find myself in a weird PS2 game. That doesn't look very good.
Well, Snake, aren't you already from a PS2 game when you think about it?
But it's true, but the PS2 game I remember being in, it seems, I remember it being much better than this.
Snake,
in fact, this game looks worse than my PS2 one, and this came out a year later.
That's because you're in Red Faction 2, Snake. Unlike Metal Gear Solid 2, which is a labor of love and took years to make, this game is a world developed in less than a year.
If that.
Like, honestly, stuff like this does show that it's honestly nothing short of incredible when sequels made in less than a year actually turn out to be good.
Also, these particular enemies are super frosty, I guess. That like they were, genetically altered, and this is why they're fuming.
You know,
we've seen them before.
They're zombie soldiers, like.
Oh,
also,
the zombie,
dude,
yes, it was the other one we found on top of the stair. Gone.
Dudes, guys in charge of these zombie projects. I get it that zombies decay, but did you think maybe you want to cover the most, vulnerable part of zombies being the brain?
I get the idea it's more of a case of having expendable units, quantity over quality.
Also, are all these guys zombies? Because some look decayed while others seem, solid, like tyrants from Resident Evil.
Also, I'm curious, Dwibs. Okay, obviously, maybe you probably don't know, and this was something we'll discover. We did mention how tenuous the connection between this and the first game is, but did future games bother to reference the events of this one?
I don't know. We'll have to wait till we get to the other one.
So Dwibs, just ask, are all of these guys zombies, or just the obviously decaying ones zombies?
I'm encountering heavy
They're all
resistance.
zombies.
I guess,
Okay.
I guess these ones are, badly baked, while the others tend to be, better, or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's a case like Resident Evil where only a select few can become the almighty tyrants who, tend to look not as zombified as the zombies.
To follow up on what Jova was saying, back in the Super Nintendo era, Dragon Ball Z Super Butoden 2 came out less than a year after the first one. The thing is, that was back in a time where games were a lot easier and cheaper to produce. Yeah. Not to mention, it was building on the foundation of the first game.
But if you actually don't know much about, the actual development cycle, kids, there was a time where Squaresoft was managing to release one Final Fantasy game per year.
Imagine.
Well,
And,
technically, they technically recently managed to get back to it by releasing 16 in 2023 and Rebirth and
mainline.
Well, aren't they both considered mainline?
Not a technicality. I'm talking about, Rebirth, despite it being, its own kind of thing, obviously it's still trending on the effect of a previous title,
I mean,
I'm guessing to you means like, brand new fresh titles each time.
Oh, brand, I guess, yeah, like as in 16, when the next mainline will be 17.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's what you mean.
I meant.
Okay.
Okay. I get it, technology evolving, blah 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 blah, but it's most connected to what you were saying about on the Super Nintendo things being technically more easier.
And we all know the story of Ace Attorney 2. While, sure, gameplay-wise, that didn't really suffer from it. We all know that Takumi, who, hell, found out Capcom wanted a second game while he was on vacation, so he had to start writing it while on the flipping train.
I mean, when you get down to it, Jova, I don't remember if we ever broke down the conception when it comes to Ace Attorney, but when you really get down, the main bulk of the game is literally not of the game making. The making of the game is literally just the plot, because you know, for the sequels you only have to create, really when you get down to it, just a handful of new characters in, I guess, you know, also the backgrounds. But otherwise you're
Maybe a new game.
and you're using a lot of assets. Otherwise.
Oh yeah, you can reuse a lot of assets. You maybe make a new gameplay mechanic or two here or there.
Like, not sure, there was the Magatama thing, but, you know, in Trials and Tribulations, I don't remember any particular new gimmick introduced.
That's why I say a new game mechanic or two. Great.
Okay, okay, now these guys show at least some sign of being hit. Bits of them start falling off.
Huh.
Groundbreaking.
I guess. Okay, I guess we can throw out my gore fury then, because that's clearly meant to be graphic. But yeah, no. Like, I mean, yeah, Ace Attorney is definitely something where its development is, you know, definitely often dictated more by the story. There are some cases where apparently some game mechanics development was a bit tricky, and I do know that apparently they did upgrade a few of the models from Dual Destinies to Spirit of Justice. Apparently some of them are brand new models, but yeah, otherwise the main bulk of it does come from the writing, which again shows with Ace Attorney 2. Still a good game, but you can tell with how lacking cases 1 and 3 were that maybe Takumi didn't have the most time to patch things out. And mind you, I don't even really hate the first case of 2. I know it's a thing some people are tepid on, but I feel like it works. And hey, the anime did show that there is a good plot buried within Turnabout Big Top.
I still stay on the argument that, you know, as a tutorial it's really not too good doing its job. But, Dwibs, you getting in contact with that zombie from before reminded me. Do you have a melee attack?
Not that I've seen, no.
Okay, I really need to ponder, because this is a shit that we encountered a few times, and I don't understand why these shooters that almost completely lack, you know, a melee attack even for emergency cases. It feels something that
The
would be
last game had a
basic.
melee weapon.
It really feels like it should be something simple to do, and again, something that, yes, you cannot actually steamroll the game with it, but something that you have in case of emergency as a result. Weird.
I'm trying to remember if the first Red Faction game had a melee
Dwibs just
attack.
said yes.
It did.
Okay, according to the Wikia, there is a melee attack in this game called the Pistol Whip.
Oh, so you're hitting with the blunt version of a weapon, I guess.
Okay, shit, where do I go?
Although,
I don't know.
Major?
Like for like when it comes to like the only tutorial cases in Ace Attorney series that I have issues with are of course the second one, which is still the worst. And to a much lesser extent, to be fair, the one from the first Great Ace Attorney, which feels a bit drawn out.
it's very wordy.
Typically tutorial cases are the short ones where it's just one trial and that's it, right?
Shit. I took a wrong turn and I ended up right back at the beginning of the level.
Great.
Why did I jump off that ledge?
I have to wonder if again. Well, then again, no. Actually, never mind. You already answered that question for me. No, and don't get me wrong. The one in Great Ace Attorney 1 is also like that, but it does go on for quite a while compared to the other tutorial cases.
I will say this about Great Ace Attorney 1, it's definitely experimental. I mean that in neither a bad way or a great way.
I'll still take it over the case that follows it. I understand the attempt at trying to make an entire Ace Attorney case that's just investigation and no trial, but I think there's a reason nobody tried that before.
And
I
to
mean,
my
there's
knowledge, there don't
already
seem to
have
be any
two
plans
games
to
that
try it
did that.
again.
Wait, we did? When?
Oh, he's talking about the investigations games. Well,
Oh, okay, fine. Let me. No, it's my turn. Okay, let me rephrase that. Mainline games, like yeah, but well, listen, those games are called Ace Attorney Investigation, so those games are much more justified in what they're doing.
I will say this also.
They're spin-offs, so.
I will say this also, in regards to there not being the court stuff, I'd say technically, to quote Mephiles, the answer is yes and no.
No.
Since, yeah, technically we don't have court cases in those cases. That being said, the court case mechanics do make their appearance in that regard. mind you, Investigations, more so 1, 2 is fantastic. Investigations 1 may have some issues. It does, for the most part, try to keep what you like about Ace Attorney while mixing in something new. Granted, I guess in a way, Investigations does feel like a parallel to great Ace Attorney. Both are experimental stuff that may not have hit the landing as much on the first one, but absolutely ascended with their second titles, which refined stuff and put it in a nicely wrapped bow. And I'm so glad that now more people can play Investigations 2 with that finally localized.
Basically, yeah. Especially because Miss Attorney Investigations 2 is actually one of the low-key better games in the series and the franchise as a whole.
Let me put it like this. Even Ace Attorney purists put Ace Attorney Investigations 2 on their top list. That's how good it is.
Even the Takumi purists, which, trust me, it's quite an achievement.
That's actually a good question, because, the sequel trilogy was handled... some of the sequels were handled by Yamazaki, okay. Who did the investigation games?
Yamazaki.
Yamazaki, the same guy who did 5 and 6.
Yamazaki actually got his start with the Investigations game.
Basically,
well,
what
okay,
happened...
technically, he first started off with Rise from the Ashes, but in terms of, being the head honcho, Investigations was his baby.
Basically, since Shutakumi was busy working on the crossover with Professor Layton, somebody else had to make the new mainline Ace Attorney game. And Capcom decided, okay, we'll give it to the Investigations team.
Oh, okay, no, I get it. I just thought it was like a third person completely instead.
No.
Nope. Basically, part of the reason why 5 and 6 do have a bit of a different feel is they're more in line with how the investigation games feel, essentially.
Not to mention, remember, this was back during the time where Takumi was burnt out with his attorney. So.
I honestly never thought I'd see him as the face of Ace Attorney again, but lo and behold, we got that trailer at Nintendo Direct.
As you also discussed, Jova, it was probably because of Keiji Inafune's, tomfoolery overall. That's why.
Oh, sure.
Reminder, it was also KJ Inafune who insisted that Phoenix be brought back for Apollo Justice, and we all know how that turned out.
I'm just wondering exactly how things are gonna handle with his Attorney 7, because I don't want Takumi to get burnt again, because if he gets burnt off again, we don't have anybody else to take the mantle.
Hopefully someone may rise up, but yeah, ideally he doesn't get burnt out. Still, we don't know what's going on with 7.
In an ideal scenario, if I was the one, I know this is not gonna happen, this is just a pipe dream that I have. In an ideal scenario, they would give Takumi free reign to go off on the cliffhanger Spirit of Justice and properly resolve that. And do one final Ace Attorney game, and then give him the freedom to maybe do something else from this point on. But I know it's not going to happen because Capcom just wants to keep milking the series. So.
I really do find it ironic that we're now to a point where Capcom considered Ace Attorney big enough to... Oh, okay. So if I recall correctly, I think I guessed that the next boss will be Repta.
Yep, that's him. With his character traits of he really likes guns.
Just like everyone else in this game.
This really is a bunch created by Rob Liefeld.
No, Joe, but Jason Statham's character likes flying things.
I hate to say it to you, I feel like even Rob Liefeld's characters would be more memorable than these goons.
Maybe Doom's 4, but no. Otherwise, no. Go on.
Well, I'll say this, I can definitely remember Liefeld characters more than these guys. Granted, I will admit, some of his more memorable creations like Deadpool, while he did technically create, I'd have their most memorable moments attributed to him.
I have to say, Joe, the experimentation of Ace Attorney 1, I have to wonder if that also extends to what he did with Susato on that game, because I still find Susato to be my personal pick for the worst assistant character.
I get it. He didn't want to make everyone a descendant character. Funnily enough, it's actually joked about in that one promotional video, but...
Trust me, Jova. That's the least of the problems I have with her. Trust me.
Oh no!
Speaking of boring characters, notice the game hasn't highlighted. But that's the thing, Joe. The game hasn't turned Kill Repta to green yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'd be dead from that fall.
He survives this.
You
Yeah,
killed me.
let's find out.
He's,
Okay.
Okay, well, clearly we can't jump down there.
he's not Hans Gross, I can tell you that.
So, Dwibs, are you willing to take a leap of faith? Or become an old man, waiting to die alone?
I'm gonna have to say no. On that front, I just can't figure out where the hell I'm supposed to go. Ah, there we go.
God. Ah.
Okay. No, it's not even just that, Jova. Like my main problem is that I find her personality very lacking compared to all of the other ones we've had previously. And her running gag is something that I genuinely just outright dislike actively, because her Suzato takedown running gag to me comes across as very mean-spirited, because she doesn't. There's quite a lot of times where she does it without any justification, and it just feels like she just wants to hurt Ryozuki for no reason. I don't know. It's just I just don't find it funny. It's just comes across. See, here's the thing: if it was something like, oh, Ryozuki did something like he did something like pervy or something, and she. Again, typical anime joke, right? That would be fine. Like karma, if he actually deserved it, that would be fine. But sometimes he just does it for no apparent reason.
Which honestly makes me wonder if she was originally supposed to be a fae, because that's kind of how Maya would act.
I don't know. Maya never outright hurt Phoenix for no reason.
Pedro.
The little
okay, fine. Okay, hold on. Sorry, go on.
So, okay, we've got the battle lava back. Now we've got to go around the base and destroy all the destroy the 3 coolant containers to blow up the marine.
Sure.
So why did they still have the objective to kill Repta up there?
Is the game
no.
Remember, like, well, while we were exiting, the objective to still kill Repta was still there, which implies he's still alive.
Although this bit didn't really help. I went forwards, the door wouldn't open, so I had to go backwards, then forwards, and then the door opened. Why? Hell if I know.
Go on, Joe.
Yeah, no. Pedro. Maya has literally assaulted Phoenix with a lead pipe just to test it out to see if she could hit him.
Okay, that is true. But that's like the one time.
There was also that other time where she activated an X-ray on him. Oh wait, no. Yeah, that was.
I seem to remember a couple of times, not necessarily to the point of being a running gag, but at least a couple of times where, you know, Maya, in order to test something, like a piece of evidence or situation, did hit Phoenix, just for the sake of that.
Let me rephrase that then. Okay, fine. So Maya's not perfectly, but at the same time, Maya has other characteristics to her, to make her not to balance that out, right? Whereas Suzato, I find her so boring as a character. She's really boring. She doesn't have any kind of dialogue. Her character arc is kind of like only really comes into play like at the very end. It's just like, I don't know.
I definitely feel she gets better in the second one. Granted, I feel like I could pretty much say it gets better in the second game for almost every aspect. And mind
that's
you,
the basic gist of it. I still don't understand how the hell Capcom greenlit the set. Then again, they were the ones who apparently meddled with the game. It wasn't meant to be 2 originally, right? So.
I definitely would put down good money to suggest that the narrative was going to feel obviously more complete when Takumi originally had the game plan, but you know, the Capcom being Capcom forced him to split it down the middle.
Yeah, remember, this was back in 2013. Remember, the Japanese original 3DS version was back in 2013, if I remember correctly.
We found the containers!
2 more left.
Find the container room.
Again, you know,
if I remember correctly, it's 2013.
The team members, but they sure don't act like it. Team members just go in and out with the blink of an eye, and like the protagonist ain't even flinched from it. Not a tear, not a mourn, not even like a salute or anything.
So in the words,
granted, I get it, they betrayed him, but he doesn't seem to reflect on anything.
I can only assume the industry as large will still try to heal from Daikatana.
That's good. I mean, it's a very probable scenario, but
It's
what you're
the
saying,
NPCs that are bad.
yeah. So what you're saying about these characters, Jova, is nobody cares. All right. Okay.
All right.
So no, I was asking you, if I remember correctly, the first Grace Attorney game on the 3DS in Japan came out in 2013. Am I correct?
2013. For
Was
Great
it?
Ace
Oh,
Attorney.
no, never mind. Now I
That's
actually
still
remember.
that's
2015.
Destinies you're thinking
2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was
in.
Capcom still
Pretty
in
much a year
their?
after the crossover finally came overseas.
Was Capcom still in their completely tone deaf and out of touch phase? Still at that point?
So much so that they made Dragon's Dogma. Sure.
Well,
Okay,
I'm
but
not saying
then
I'm not saying they didn't make anything good. Period. I'm just saying.
But
Like,
I'm saying people have been seen only mostly what the bad stuff that they did back then.
I will say this though, their communication on why we weren't getting Great Ace Attorney, as people have mentioned, was pretty bad, since a lot of people were pretty much left to just guess, are we getting this, and eventually why we weren't getting it. So Capcom were getting better, but they still had problems, essentially.
Oh yeah, and again, this is something else I love. Segments in which you're practically tied to the thing and you can't get in and out at will.
great.
Oh, that's dandy. It's just like with Crash, Raptor Cortex, and the Alien Mech. Like, I know it has a name, but come on, it's the Alien Mech.
Alright, where's the next one?
They're trying to get us to care much about the team that betrayed us. They are doing a crap job.
Yeah.
Like, the protagonist doesn't even really react to stuff much here and there. And I know what some may say, well, what about Halo? Yes, Master Chief is arguably not the most character-driven, but Halo, A, actually has good gameplay to fall back on, and B, actually does have a more interesting world that, allows you to, make more headspace and theories around.
It also
and yeah,
helps
you
that
could...
Chief who usually works solo. Sure, yes, they have Cortana, of course, but it's more of a case where he doesn't really have that much of a team outside of confidants who help him, via radio control and stuff like that. It's mostly instead Arbiter that actually tends to have a team.
Which, does help when eventually we do get the duel of Master Chief and the Arbiter, essentially.
Until Halo 5. So instead, we have the new hip. Instead, we had the new hip character and his team hunting down Chief. Okay, also,
Like, you know,
let me be more fair because I don't want that to be just a pot shot. Technically speaking, the entire point of Halo Reach, the prequel, is for you to actually be in control of the team, you know, and the entire point of the game is actually to make you have an emotional connection with the team, and since it's a prequel, of course every one of them is gonna be picked out eventually, so that's that kind of emotional connection. So technically speaking, the franchise does have a precedent, you know, and a good one of that.
And, you know, my point with Chief is, like, there is a way to do the sort of stoic protagonist whose shoes you can fit in, but you can also do it well. Chief is someone who you can theorize what he's thinking because, in a way, he does lend himself to that kind of mindset, while still, you know, being a badass, essentially. I guess you could say the character is technically a badass here, but the gameplay doesn't complement it enough to make it feel like you're as much a badass as much as it is more like you're just struggling through the game or just slogging through it. It's like with Superman 64. Any Superman game should be, at the start, a power trip, essentially. Superman 64
lads,
is not.
Sorry, lads, I can't hear you over this game's audio mixing.
Jesus.
Yeah, and again, if they wanted to get us into the characters, maybe at least let us be able to hear what they're saying.
Honestly, Drum,
Yeah, I mean, you got two major celebrities for this, and we can barely hear them.
yeah, I was just about to say, again, I'm starting to understand that the celebrity, you know, voice acting were put there mostly as a crutch more than anything. Because otherwise, people will remember even less these characters. Not that they do anyway, so...
Like, honestly, I know that this game probably doesn't have much documentation because Red Faction is really not one of the big popular franchises, but man, the way this game turned out just fascinates me in all the wrong ways, and I kinda would love to get a what happened or some behind-the-scenes documentary on just what the hell they were thinking with this one. Because, okay, it's not even just a case of, oh, storytelling and voice acting were new in games. Like, no. PlayStation had a whole generation to solidify voice acting. Not
And
saying
even
that
before
all
that-
of it was masterful, but the audio mixing was, you know, typically on point.
Even before that, like on the PC side of things, we had plenty of CD-ROM games that had voice acting in it.
Half-Life?
Like I
Not
mentioned
just that.
multiple times, yeah.
Even before that, Dwibs, remember the King's Quest V, for as non as the voice acting is, it was still there. And so, and okay, how about this? Even better example, King's Quest 6, which came out right after, and that voice acting in that game actually has held up well, because they actually got proper voice actors for that one, unlike with 5, right? So even by 1991, Dwibs, we were already starting to see, you know, the bar being raised.
My best guess is that the executives were so confident that the name Red Faction would sell that they were like, just put it together, it'll all solve itself out
Yeah,
just
when
fine.
brand name sells more. Oh, new enemy type.
Lord Zed, what have you done to yourself?
Yeah, it kind of looks like the villain from the...
I can hear that bit. These guys are more powerful. Basically, he said, "Oh, these guys are more powerful than you. So
Also,
you're obsolete now."
Yeah, it kind of looks like the main villain of the first Soldier of Fortune video game.
But yeah, it's always a dangerous thing where you've only got your first game out, and I get it. Sometimes there are reasons to be confident, but I always feel like, well, one, you never want to let your hubris get to you, but to do it after the first game especially to get that complacent is... Ooh, that's kind of setting yourself up to fail. Go on, Zero.
I hunted in the meantime a copy of the manual. Thankfully, Internet Archive actually has saved, so this is actually preserved. Someone actually had the good eyesight. It's presented like a propaganda manifesto, so it's actually pretty cute. But and it also has character bios, so actually I'm skimming a bit through these, and they are presented kind of like actual medical records, so meat, I guess. So it's actually pretty neat, actually, in the way of presentation. You see, there is a Tangier. Is that one of the people that we killed, or is she still alive?
No, the Tangiers are our ally.
Okay.
She's like one of the few members who didn't betray us.
Subject was among the adolescent orphans shipped post-rebellion from the Ultor complex of Mars to the Commonwealth, Ultor. Because of her demonstrated technical expertise, Subject was immediately assigned to the so-called intelligence services. Subject has distinguished herself in domestic and foreign covert operations. Nanoprocessing procedure were modified to enhance Subject's stealth abilities. Pre-processing, Subject demonstrated a stable but introverted psychology. Service files noted more understanding of technology than people. Post-processing, Subject continued to demonstrate a stable psychology but has become extremely extroverted.
The game just red starred me, even though it was the enemy that shot those 3 civilians down, and I didn't have a chance to destroy the enemy before he could do that. So
what, the game
yeah.
penalizes you for when enemies also kill civilians?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's basically the worst aspect of an escort mission.
And again, it gave me no time to react. So yeah, screw you, game.
Last phrase of her bio, one tester noted the subject attempted to manipulate him using flirtation and sexual innuendo. I actually forgot if she does that.
Oh my god. But Biggie there has turned into
Frankenstein.
God.
Actually, it looks like Solomon Grundy in Batman Arkham City.
And yet his talking head there is normal. You couldn't
that's
your mission control.
That's
yeah.
the evil bad Lance Henriksen guy.
Oh my god, they look so similar. I mistook the two.
Like I said, Drova, Rob Liefeld.
So yeah, pretty much the same boss we got earlier. More shooting these bloody sponges of people, and if it weren't for the health bar, I wouldn't know if I was hitting them or not because they don't flinch. Oh, and it's also introduced as a new crutch. Occasionally, you'll throw grenades at you that reverses your controls.
And I can see also distorted your screen in order to give him an edge.
So basically, he's come back now, I guess enhanced by whatever he fell into.
I guess.
Yeah, whatever that was.
He absorbed, he drank the Kool-Aid, Drova, literally.
God, this should be awesome. He's turned into a lightning god, but it doesn't feel awesome.
I can also tell that at least the game is trying to give a more different of a set piece. Before we had, the boss fight with the sniper woman on the balcony, we had to actually defenestrate. And in this case, you are on a mech section and your enemy has literally been turned into a superpower being. The game is clearly trying to differentiate a bit, the type of encounters instead of having just a simple, more boring arenas, that are copied and pasted all hallways, and so it gets a little confusing, It's just that we're not getting quite there, especially also because the characters are very well toasted.
Yeah, like, nothing about this game feels super engaging. If the gameplay were at least fun, that would probably suffice, especially for a game back in the day. But it just feels sluggish and bare bones compared to the game that came before.
Again, it doesn't really help the fact that despite the sci-fi setting, the futuristic part of your arsenal is very minimal. Yes, we're literally piloting a mech, but it has 2 simple Gatling gun and a pair of energy missiles, I guess. It's really just a bit meh.
Okay.
Phase 2.
So now we just gotta chase him down.
You're just a chicken.
Oh, we have to exit the mech.
Alright, so how do we get to the other side? I know. I'll follow him over by jumping over to the other side.
I don't think it's a good idea, Dwibs.
And
yeah. This is like that golden. It's like that scene from Golden Boy.
Okay, that was a bit of a fuck up. But hey, we'll tell the game's checkpoint system will just take me back to that last bit there. Oh god damn it, we gotta fight him again! Yes, this game's amazing checkpoint system means I've got to fight this sponge again in the mech.
And I guess you didn't cut it to the point where you beat him again. Anyway...
No, because I had to suffer through this, so you guys have to too.
Roy.
I guess it gives me a chance to continue reading the manual. Next subject, 888, I think that's his name. Actually, no, Shrike. There you go, there he is. A 6-year veteran of the Army Air Corps. Subject is a specialist in all forms of military transportation and has foreign service experience. Subject's ability to think creatively has made him an excellent choice for a large number of high-risk operations. Service file notes that the subject is educated, skillful, and confident, but has not been recommended for promotion due to a tendency to, quote-unquote, creatively interpret orders. Subject feels that volunteering from processing will gain him the promotion he desires. Pre-processing, the subject's psychological profile indicated an above-average and highly creative intellect, coupled with superior problem-solving abilities. Post-processing, the subject demonstrated faster reaction times and increased belief in his mental superiority and physical invulnerability. Note, subject among 56% of process exhibiting a variety of measurable psychological changes. We forgot the Shrike is the guy with the blue hair, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, Jason Statham.
Oh, okay. Isn't Digital System Alias? I keep forgetting them. Whatever.
No. Jason Statham is Shrike. Alias is our main protagonist who... Yeah, I don't think he said a word, has he?
Well, okay,
yeah, he said a few words.
In some cutscenes, he really is like Nathan Hale in the first Resist. I have to remind you, bro, that back then the idea of your character not speaking that much, if not at all, was like the norm.
Oh, I get it. Oh, trust me, I get it, you know. It helped the whole you can fit in their shoes or imagine yourself in the role vibe.
Next, the guy that we're fighting now, Repta. Subject service records notes a history of berserk violence, several allegations of involvement in atrocity, and low impulse control. The subject was not originally slated for Project Support Blade. However, the assistant of Secretary of Defense Molotov, under whom the subject has served for many years, the subject was included in the project. Subject exhibits extreme loyalty to Commander Molotov and is amenable to his orders. Post-processing, subject exhibited heightened aggression and reduced impulse control. His loyalty to Commander Molotov remained constant. Note, unlike 99% of subjects, processing immeasurably reduced the subject's IQ. Note, subject is among the 56% of sources exhibiting a variety of measurable psychological changes. Alright.
You know, I just want to point out that these personalities actually sound interesting going off of the manual, and I can count on my hand the amount of times, practically on one finger, the amount of times any of those personalities have shown through in the actual game.
I get the idea. It's also a fancier way, like the guy with we just read the Repta. This is just a very fancy roundabout way of saying big brute guy that will stay loyal to the enemy. The end.
You know, I do get the feeling that it'd be funny if these personalities showcased in the manual were actually meant to be shown more in the game, but when they rushed it, they couldn't get as many scenes.
Again, like a remnant of the draft.
And it wouldn't be the first time that a manual has described a different game than what we actually got. Basically.
Also, let me check. The next is a sniper lady, the one with the penetrated quill. Survey records note that subject is an expert sniper who has been successfully inserted into numerous high-risk situations on foreign soil. Subject is highly decorated and has been commended for her courage under fire. The subject has no political convictions or unique loyalty, but expressed willingness to do whatever it takes, quote-unquote, to augment her physical abilities. Processing has improved the subject's already impressive athleticism and coordination. Subject was enthusiastic about her improved prowess and the ability to quote-unquote think more clearly. Note, this was the only subject who reported taking pleasure in the transformation process. Note, subject is only the 27% of subjects who showed no significant psychological change post-processing.
Okay, so
now
trying to jump over
here,
to his side doesn't work.
I guess you have to take some stairs that's present, or a mechanism that is present there.
Nope, we're stuck on this bit. We have to try and shoot him.
Oh, well, true.
Well, I
to
figured.
be fair, you have long range stuff that should be able to do the trick.
So just wait for him to peek his head. Just wait for him to peek his head out and shoot him.
The search for Repta.
Weird you can't go up that ladder, but okay.
Because
I don't think
not
that's a ladder.
It's not even a step ladder.
It's weird because it looks like the texture a lot of games use for a
Oh,
ladder.
I guess you need to track him down by using the glowing of him.
Yeah, you just follow his trail and.
I guess it's not terrible.
I guess on paper,
Well, I mean-
but I guess it could have been better. I guess.
I mean, it requires more. It requires more thought than just go around little circle things, spam your machine guns, and also try and not to get too disoriented by his reverse time grenades.
You know, dude, you're powered by electricity. Why don't you, like, tackle the protagonist?
Like, remember,
Pretty sure.
as told also by the bio, he's apparently very dumb. The only thing that has remained after the conversion is the fact that, he's loyal to the bad guy. To Lance Henriksen's character.
My love.
Yeah.
I'll continue the bios in the next part, why not, since we're almost done.
And it's the final part as well, so
Oh, wonderful timing. You.
don't worry, we're nearly done.
But, yeah, no, like, I guess the idea is supposed to be that he's dumb, or maybe he's mindless after coming back. Like, is he himself now one of those zombie things?
I guess that's the idea, being exposed directly into this Kool-Aid and it's changed him, Remember, even the bio said that even the conversion reduced his IQ, but, and he was already pro to Berserker strength, so I guess this is an ulterior enhancement to that.
I'm guessing the reason he gets, like, that superpowered state is because he was already enhanced like we are.
I remember, apparently,
'Cause remember,
it's all these people were part of a program of the dictator at the beginning.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
wasn't there supposed to be a
and
kaboom
his-
sound?
and his screen bit crunched.
Not only that, but the explosion. There was no explosion sound.
There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Like, that is immensely sloppy. Well, I guess that leaves just Shrike and Molov now to take on.
Yeah, about Shrike. We'll get to that in the next part, which is the finale, in which we finally get past evil.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Right.